A major study on how to limit global warming could be dropped from formal UN climate talks in Bonn this week after a gentleman's agreement was made under pressure from Saudi Arabia.
Here's a summary of the article.
A major study on how to limit global warming could be dropped from formal UN climate talks in Bonn this week after a gentleman's agreement was made under pressure from Saudi Arabia. Last December, 4 large oil producers, Saudi Arabia, the US, Kuwait and Russia, refused to endorse the influential Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report, which shows what the world could look like under 1.5 C of warming. The report was commissioned by the UN after the Paris Climate Agreement in 2015. Now, with UN talks set to continue this week in Germany, Saudi Arabia still objects to the study being part of formal climate negotiations. The talks are intended to raise ambition to curb greenhouse gas emissions, accelerate resilience-building efforts, and ensure that climate policy is built on a solid foundation of the best available science and knowledge in the light of the Paris Accord, according to the UN. If countries are not able to agree on welcoming the report's findings or doing anything with them, it's awkward, Karl Schleusner, head of climate science at the NGO Climate Analytics, told Climate Home News. This is a gentleman's deal that is not very gentlemanly, Jennifer Tallman, policy advisor at think tank E3G, told Climate Home News. The aim was to help those in power to ward off climate change and support sustainable economic development.
This post received a score of 38,824, with an upvote ratio of 92%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Western governments' repeated dealings with and bending to the will of this vile regime are one of the greatest shames of modern times.
When you have greed-filled billionaires and millionaires running the show, what else would you expect to happen?
Apparently a self-regulating market LMAO.
It'll trickle down any day now.
When you realize that people expecting that are basically going through the same process as an old person who has trouble getting piss flow started.
The same process? You mean the same people?
I mean, there's a argument to be made it's all just one big MLM.
Capitalism is just one big MLM, with more complex layers. Then again, it's also just a more complex and less overt version of feudalism as well.
The whole concept of Wall Street only works as long as more money gets put into it. That particular MLM has just gotten so massive that it's become normalized somehow.
We need to list the 100 most damaging politicians to climate change. Bang their names in large stone tablets and place them in each capital in a busy area so that as the years go on, future generations will be able to read the names of all who have doomed the future. These losers will be dead soon and all they'll have is a legacy. Take their names and trash their legacy. Edit, thanks for the gold. But someone should think about how to kickstart a monument for a public park somewhere.
Last-ditch climate change report provides locations of weapons, current whereabouts of oil executives.
This but unironically.
We're getting there. Their mistake is thinking it won't ever go that far.
Germany was an example of people's desperation, and even if it didn't do much in the big picture, it sent a strong message.
This is all without mentioning the slavery both countries practice, the support of radical Islam globally, violating the human rights of women, the racist nature of their countries where citizenship is only granted by blood, and the basic premise that their countries ruled by kings who hold all the power. Oh, and they also lobby the UN to combat the vital fight on global warming which impacts every living human being on Earth. We're here now. Meanwhile, we have the most powerful man on Earth right now make up fake emergencies in order to appease these people and continue selling them weapons so they can continue doing all of the above.
Lol, the UAE and Saudi Arabia accounted for 17 out of 19 hijackers on 9/11, yet we blowed up Afghanistan and Iraq instead. Now that is a gentleman's agreement.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.